Season 42, war number 12, and we are up against GT40. This time my team will be Absorbing Man, Cassie Lang and Future Ant-Man, and because they banned Tigra and Valkyrie. I will be taking Path 5 in Section 1, as well as the Doom on the shared fight, and then I will also be taking the Nova on the Hazard Shift and Ebony on the Root node, and then I'm on Path 7 in Section 2, I'm also taking that Wong there on the shared fight, and then for the boss island I will be taking Korg and Zemo there on the left side. So still got quite a few fights, a few interesting ones as well that I haven't taken before, and yeah, it would be very good for us if we won this one, but it is GT40, so that's likely not gonna happen. So up first here we have a Hulkling on the Even Flow knockdown and right back at it nodes. I'm taking this fight with Absorbing Man, starting in the Uru form for the physical resistance and to also just be able to spam special ones the whole fight, and that's essentially all I'm gonna be doing here. The indestructible buffs on Hulkling expire almost immediately, so that's nothing to worry about there. The biggest issue, if you can even call it that, is the regeneration, but that is based on the damage Hulkling takes from your hit. It doesn't interact with the burst damage at all, so just spamming those special ones over and over to keep the Uru form refined will make this fight extremely easy and pretty fast as well. I won't even bother doing the heavy chain into a special because it's simply not needed. I just gotta make sure I don't get pushed to my special 2, because then I would have to go the special 3 route, and while that would make me hit harder, it would waste some time. So just spamming special ones over and over, and the fight goes down. No issues at all. Next up we have a Kate Bishop on the Even Flow knockdown and heavy hitter nodes, and I'm taking this fight with Future Ant-Man. The idea here is that since Future Ant-Man is a tactic attacker, I don't have to deal with defense tactic at all, and as soon as I get the Searching Swarm active, I make the AI of the opponent a lot more aggressive, meaning I can get my openings a lot easier. Due to the heavy hitter node and the fact that you can't really punish Kate Bishop with your parry stunts, because if you try to hit her while she is stunned, she'll purify the stun debuff, evade and stun you. So the only real way to get your openings here is by landing intercepts. Unless you use something like a White Max pre-fight, but for this war, White Magneto was banned, so that was not an option. Now I tried to go for a special 1 there instead of the special 2 to set up a disintegration debuff on the opponent, and now before I drop my special 2 I need to get the power detonation active. I mistimed it with the protection, so lost out on a ton of damage there, but luckily Kate Bishop's health pool isn't that huge, so just another special 1 to finish it off. I did get hit a little bit, but that's alright. I still finished the fight without any bigger issues, so can't be mad at that. And then we have a Doctor Doom on the Even Flow knockdown and heavy hitter nodes, and I'm taking this fight with Absorbing Man, starting in the magma form. Main reason for that is the energy resistance, which, like we see here, comes very handy, because I simply just suck at this game and I just can't land my intercepts and I get comboed. But anyway, the actual plan here is to just keep the magma form up, refine it with the special 2, and then just allow the passive incinerates to do most of the work. I won't be going for the heavy chain in the special 2, because, well, I'm struggling a bit to even keep the form paused, so trying to fish for the heavy attack before the special, I just didn't want to deal with anything else but just make sure I keep the form up, because that's the main thing here. And as we can see here, once again, I just suck at this game, I get myself parried, my form is just about to run out, I go for an intercept, and luckily this time Doctor Doom actually goes for it, so I got to pause my form while his aura was up. Now if I couldn't pause the form there, I just would have thrown my special 2 even with the aura up, get resisted on the last hit and probably comboed again, but because Absorbing Man is a beast with all that energy resistance, I would have been fine. Now, as long as I don't eat heavy attacks, which is the only physical damage that Doom does, well, as I was saying, I should be just fine. Luckily that heavy didn't crit, otherwise I would have dropped down quite a bit. So, a pretty horrible fight, to be honest, but Absorbing Man didn't even take too much damage there, and Doctor Doom normally can hit very hard. So, it just goes to show how tanky Absorbing Man can be if you use the right form in the right scenario. Then next up here we have a Nova on the Hazard Shift, Incinerate and Shock node along with Aggression Prowess, and I'm taking this fight with Absorbing Man starting in the Magma form. The Magma form makes me immune to Incinerate on top of giving me a ton of energy resistance, so the Incinerate immunity allows me to deal with the Incinerate debuffs, and the energy resistance takes care of the shock debuffs for the most part. Usually when I'm taking this fight I like to have Odin's shock resistance on me to completely shut down the shock debuffs as well, but his energy resistance here alone is enough to deal with the fight. So the game plan once again is to just make sure I never drop out of the Magma form and just keep dropping those special 2s to refine the form, and that's about all there is to it. I do need to make sure I don't eat a special 3 here, because all those prowesses would not make it pretty. And that said, I did use an invulnerability boost here just in case, because Nova can sometimes be very annoying, dash in, dash out, build power that way, and if that happens, there's not much you can really do about it. Luckily he didn't do that here, so I didn't have to watch the special 3 animation, although it is pretty cool, and he goes down quite easily, no real mistakes there, and Absorbing Man is still standing at near full health. Then we have an Ebony on the Scared Stiff and Power Focus 2 node, and I'm taking this fight with Cassie once again. And the game plan here is the same as it was last time. I gotta get those heavies in pretty often to make sure he can't focus, so that I wouldn't have to deal with Falter debuff at all in this fight. On top of that, I just gotta build some power stings, bait special ones from him to make him nuke himself, and then just make sure I try to keep the taunt up on the opponent at all times with my special ones. Now I do make a bit of a mistake here. I got rooted and I ate a heavy attack, which normally triggers Ebony Maw's degeneration because of the power steal, but due to Cassie Lang's awakened ability, he or she is immune to power steal. So that saved me there. Now at this point, his Falter comes back up. Luckily I didn't actually hit him, otherwise I would have triggered the degeneration there, and since the taunt is up, the combo hits that he landed on me barely even tickled, so I'm still good even though this fight has gone horribly so far. Now all my power stings have fallen off, so my damage output is not great to say the least, so I'm gonna try and land some more heavy attacks here to get it going. And I mean, so far the fight hasn't gone well, but I'm still at almost full health due to the taunt debuff, and that just goes to show how tanky Cassie can be as well. Realistically, with the team I'm running, I should never die against any opponent because of how tanky all of my attackers are. But anything can happen, and once again I make a mistake. I hit him with the Falter up, triggered the degenerations, but since I did have the taunt up, they dealt close to no damage as well. And then the taunt fell off, I got comboed again, and there you saw it actually hurts quite a bit, so I know it was a mistake on my part, but since it didn't cost me a death or anything, I'm happy to at least showcase the difference between with the taunt and without the taunt. And the difference is massive. Now at this point, since I got comboed there, which gave me a bit of a scare, I got my head back in the game. I'm actually doing what I was supposed to be doing, and the rest of this fight goes down without really having any issues. I'm getting the poisons up, getting the taunts up, getting power stings up, and baiting the special ones correctly, and he went down pretty quickly after that. So that is what I was supposed to be doing from the beginning, but I'm apparently playing very bad this war, so Oh well, at least I didn't die, because I will refuse to die against an Ebony ever again. Next up we have an Agent Venom on the second wind unblockable and power creep nodes, and I'm taking this fight with Future Ant-Man. The main thing to worry about here is the defense tactic, but once again Future Ant-Man being a tactic attacker, he completely shuts it down, and the rest is simple. I just gotta build up power to my special 2, drop it while the power detonation is active, and repeat until the opponent falls. Unfortunately, I can't use the disintegration debuffs here to increase my damage output further, because Agent Venom would just shrug them off. And that said, as we see here, you don't really need the disintegration debuffs for this, because Future Ant-Man, it's like a truck. Just a few more combos and down he goes. Around 40 seconds for this fight, and Future Ant-Man is just a beast. Hopefully that holds true for the next fight as well, because that was one I was a bit more worried about. So next up we have a Shuri on the Make a Stand and second wind unblockable nodes, and I'm taking the fight with Future Ant-Man. Now the biggest problem here is the Make a Stand node by far, because all of Shuri's attacks are non-contact. It means I cannot land my parries to land heavy attacks that way, and Future Ant-Man's heavy reach is pretty bad, so I can't really punish her heavies with my heavy either. So to deal with this fight, I gotta build up to my special 2, well, a bit over that, then finish my combo on a light attack to be able to use my special 1 instead of the special 2. And that removes the Make a Stand node by knocking her down, so now I just gotta go for my special 2 with the disintegration and the power detonation on the opponent, and that damage is pretty huge. Now, since it wasn't wide enough to finish her off, and now the Make a Stand node came back, the next course of action for me is to build up power to my special 2 again, drop it with the power detonation active, and even with the Make a Stand node the damage is decent, but since the final hit knocks her down before the burst damage triggers, the final hit alone should be enough to take her down the rest of the way. That said, she is dead even before the final hit, and once again it wasn't a clean fight. I did get comboed because I missed an intercept earlier, but other than that, it wasn't too bad. That was the fight that I was a bit more worried about than the rest, because I didn't have a great counter for it, so to speak, but I made it work, so I'm pretty happy with that. Then we have a Wong on the inevitable power efficiency, Make a Stand and When I Open node, and I'm taking this fight with Cassie Lang. On paper this fight should be extremely simple. I'm just gonna be getting him to his corner, and then I just gotta throw some heavies, bait special 1s, punish them with my heavies, keep the taunt up, and let the power stings do most of the work. And that should be just about it. Now to start this fight off, I go for some parries and hit him while stunned, even with the When I Open node, because the When I Open node reflects any damage that he takes while stunned, but because of the Make a Stand node he's taking 90% reduced damage. So essentially, since you do no damage to the opponent, you also take no damage from the When I Open node. Now that he's cornered, I just gotta keep spamming my special 1s, baiting those special 1s from him, punishing them with my heavy attack, and repeat until the fight is over, and there shouldn't be anything for me to worry about. Cassie Lang is immune to buffs, so the Unstoppable due to the blue spell on Wong should never trigger, and the energy that he has should get dealt with by me using my heavies, like we see here. If he reaches 100 energy and you hit him with a medium or a light attack, you take a big burst of damage, so you gotta remove it by landing a heavy attack, which for Cassie Lang is extremely easy. Just over a minute gone in this fight, he's down to around 10%, and this fight has gone extremely well. This is kinda how Cassie Lang's fights should look like, but the few that I have done so far, well, not counting this one, have not been too great, but I'm getting better at this. Next up we have a Korg on the power efficiency and missing in action miniboss node, and I was planning on using Absorbing Man here, but at the last minute here I decided to switch to Future Ant-Man instead, because I'm more comfortable using him against Korg. Namely because I have done this matchup in war plenty of times by now. Well, not on this node, but Future Ant-Man against Korg in general. So the game plan here essentially is to just get to my special 2s, wait for the power detonation to become active, and then while the rock shield is down, just drop the special 2 and repeat until the fight is over. The main issue here would be the power efficiency node, but because of Future Ant-Man's power control capabilities, it's not really a problem at all, and the falter node gets dealt with pretty nicely with the special 2s like we see here. I do also use the falter to get a few openings here to land my light attacks, so that I wouldn't have to deal with the rock shield damage, and that worked out pretty well as well. Now, the special 2 itself, even without any disintegrations, did quite a lot of damage, so I do believe using Future Ant-Man here was the right call, even just for the attacker tactic, shutting down the defense tactic completely. Absorbing Man would still have to deal with the extra power gain from that whenever he lands critical hits, so that might have been a bit more annoying to deal with than a normal Korg like we have here. All in all, I'd say Future Ant-Man is a great counter for this fight specifically, and he goes down just over a minute, barely any damage taken, and a nice combo to finish it off as well. Then we have the final fight of this war and the whole season, a Baron Zemo on the Aspect of Evolution miniboss node. I'm taking this fight with Future Ant-Man, and this fight is extremely simple. It's the same as the Hazard Shift Zemo, but way easier, because you don't need to deal with any debuffs, you don't need to deal with any of that, you just build up power to your special 2, drop it while the power detonation is active, and then beta special 1 from Zemo to make sure that the disintegration debuff doesn't trigger. And that's all there is to it. Since you're not inflicting debuffs, Zemo is not cleansing anything. If he's not cleansing anything, he's not gaining any of the prowesses either, and any prowess he gets from me landing a crit gets removed immediately with the attacker tactic, so that's not a problem either. So all in all, Future Ant-Man, excellent counter here, and as long as you're not straight up eating full combos or pushing into his special 3 somehow, this fight should not be a problem, and it's very simple to deal with. Special 2s themselves don't hit as hard as they could, because once again I can't stack up the disintegrations, but like we see here, that's not necessary at all. The damage he has at his base is more than enough to deal with this fight. Now, there we saw something that I haven't actually seen before. Zemo landed a critical hit through my block that actually hit the damage cap on Future Ant-Man. And his sig ability caps damage from any source at 10% of his max health, so even though I was fully boosted, that hit through the block hit over 10% of the health that I had. And that was pretty shocking during the fight, and I'm very glad that Future Ant-Man does have the damage cap, because otherwise that might have been pretty scary. As for the results, as usual, we lost the war, this time 4-10. We actually kinda just threw this war away right from the beginning. I believe the stats were 0-5 or something along those lines, and very early on. No idea why we kept dying, but we did, so there's that. A very unfortunate finish for this season, but all in all, it wasn't as bad of a season as it could have been. We definitely did not do well at all, and we are not even finishing in the top 10 of Masters, but luckily due to the reward increase, due to the issues that there was with War 9, we are still getting the top 10 rewards at the end of the season, so I guess I can't really complain there. Now, my personal stats were 107 attacker kills and 1 death, along with 4 of those being boss solos. Now, that said, that is lower than my usual per season, but the main thing there is that War 9, the war that didn't count throughout the season, was not accounted for these stats. So any attacker kills I did there, they didn't count. So it was a decent season, just a little bit less than 10 attacker kills per war, so still pretty busy, but definitely not my busiest so far. And now we have a 6-week long vacation from Alliance War until the next season, so I guess this does it for war videos for a while. I'm gonna try to figure out something else to do in the meantime, whether or not that be BG streams or something else, I don't know yet. I will figure it out, and I hope that you all catch those as well. So, thank you everyone for sticking around for another season of Alliance Wars, and I hope that you enjoyed the fact that I actually got these videos out early this time around instead of a week or even more than that behind the schedule. So I'm gonna be trying to stick to that for the upcoming videos, no matter what they are, because, well, you guys deserve it. So, thanks again for watching this video as well, and I'll see you soon.